The price of freedom is death. We are coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters, welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I'm your host, Afro Elite. I appreciate every single last one of you all for being here. We're going to have a very serious conversation, so I am very grateful that you're here. We're going to be discussing the California fires. California right now is unfortunately going through it. A lot of people in California have had their lives completely destroyed in the recent events of the wildfires going on in California. Here are just a few of the images just to show you how severe these forest fires are going, these wildfires, just completely destroying everything in their path. Unfortunately, what has happened, what we have found out as of recently, is that essentially due to a lot of different reasons and a lot of different factors, the fire department in California was very unprepared for the situation. Having a lot of people point a lot of fingers. A lot of people are pointing fingers at the administration, at Gavin Newsom in particular. A lot of people are saying that Gavin Newsom is at fault for this. Gavin Newsom should have, as the governor of California, Gavin Newsom should have been way more prepared than what he was. A lot of people are also blaming Karen Bass for this situation, because a lot of people are saying Karen Bass lowered the budget. She cut the budget for the fire department, which we will confirm actually did happen. A lot of people saying it didn't happen. It didn't make a difference. These are conspiracies. So we will have confirmation later on this evening about what happened. But overall, we will discuss how this is affecting a lot of the Black families in California and why the forest fires, the damages of the forest fires, all of the houses that have been burned down, all of these things are cases that are made that further go to prove why we need reparations. Everything that we see here now, of course, because there's going to be trolls in the chat room or whatever, we're not saying that Black houses were the only houses that were burned down. That's not what we're saying at all. But we're saying these are the situations that go to prove why reparations are 100% so very necessary. All right. Now, I want to discuss a little bit about the fires. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not an expert as far as the history of California forest fires. You know, in Illinois, we don't really have forest fires like that. California is known for that. It's been California has had many, many different forest fires for a very long time. That's because California, especially around certain times of the year, it doesn't really rain that much. So certain parts of California get very dry. Wind starts to blow, a spark can set a fire, which can easily spread to another thing. Then there are some people who have some conspiracies saying that some of these fires are actually man-made. And there have been people, this has been confirmed, there have been people who have been arrested for fueling the fire or starting other fires. So we're not going to sit here and say all of the fire in the wildfires have been man-made, nor are we going to say that none of the fires have been man-made or nobody has fueled any of the fires that have already been going. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of unanswered questions to that. I'm just going to say that and leave that where it is, because we don't know. And it's important that if we do not know, to specify that we don't know. We can speculate, we can theorize all we want to, but we should put on the record that I am not confirming or denying anything. We just don't know 100% at this point. What we do know is that the fires have been very devastating. That's what we know. All right. A lot of people are trying to blame a lot of people, and I do understand that. Your house got burned down. I do understand you feeling like, okay, if California is known for this, whether it's man-made or not man-made, if California is known for having wildfires, you think that California should have the absolute most best funding and everything should be great, and they should have the biggest number of firefighters and the best high-tech equipment. Not just the state of California. You think the federal government should also have been lock in step at the ready for any time California needs this, because California is known to have this issue. That's what you think, because that's what would make sense. But unfortunately, in this situation, what would make sense is not what they did. So they've allowed the wildfires to just go just crazy. They've allowed the wildfires to go crazy. And it's just destroyed a lot of people's things. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to make sure that the channel's interest has been protected by playing the disclaimer clip. So going forward, it is known that everything that is played on this live stream is fair use, and it is for commentary. All right. But as we are doing that, I need every single last one of you all to hit that like button and subscribe button. Say what's up in the chat room, all of that, as we play this disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, people want to blame somebody, and I totally understand that. The first person I want to get to is Karen Bass. Karen Bass was, during the time of the forest fire, she was in Ghana. Karen Bass was in Ghana. I don't know if she was at some type of event, if she was at some type of party, wedding, whatever the case is, but she was in Ghana at the time. And she came back, and a reporter tried to discuss with her, ask her questions. Of course, that's what reporters do in this situation. She literally, and I do mean quite literally, had absolutely nothing to say whatsoever. Y'all look at this, because the news played a little bit of this. I'm going to show you the whole thing. Look at this.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up, boss? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
I mean, when I say she's not saying anything, I'm not saying she's saying something, but it's really not nothing. I mean, her words are not coming out of her mouth at all. She's literally acting as if this man is speaking another language. She's not looking at the camera. She's not even trying to hide from it. She's literally like frozen, standing there, like she's in some type of phase or something like that. Like she's in some trance. She's quite literally, words are not coming out of her mouth at all.
No apology for them?
No.
Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
She literally, whoever the interviewer guy is following her, and he's on it. She's trying to run away or whatever. She couldn't get out that door. She's literally trying to run away, and this man is following her. Look how long he goes and she doesn't say anything at all.
Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
No. They're gonna come.
Ma'am, hold on 1 second.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Can you take this down?
Like, quite literally, quite literally, she didn't say a word, nothing at all. She did say something after a press conference, but not there. That's after she read a script and she had a set of lines to say, but she didn't really have any reason, anything to say. Not even I could almost see if you don't want to get into details right then and there before your press conference, but you're not even going to say praying for the families, my condolences to the lives that's been lost, to the damages that's been done. No, I'm talking about absolutely nothing. Just quite literally nothing. Just no empathy whatsoever. Okay. You want to talk about no empathy, though? Do y'all want to talk about no empathy? That was Karen Bass. But you want to know who's not only not saying anything, actually should probably not say anything, but is saying something? Joe Biden. Joe Biden thinks the situation apparently is funny. Joe Biden's getting a good laugh at this situation. I don't know if he's just still fixated on revenge due to him losing the election, probably, but Joe Biden thinks the situation is funny. Look at this. So there was a press conference that went on, and Joe Biden makes a joke to Kamala about the fire, a little fire joke.
Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the president throws it to the vice president.
Now, they were live on CNN at the time. So he says, hey, Vice President, I know you're directly affected. Now, keep in mind, Kamala's from California. So he says, I know you're directly affected, so fire away. No pun intended. And then that's when everybody's like, oh, the CNN, you heard them smack their lips like, are you serious?
Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the
and you can see the face she made, so she understood it. Everybody was like, wow, okay, really? Yeah.
No pun intended.
All right, as the president throws it to the vice president.
Vice President,
if you think that that's something, if you think that we're reaching, mind you, this is still the sitting president of the United States. Just keep this in mind. This is still the sitting president of the United States. If you think that this is a reach, I want you guys to look at this, because maybe we might be a little harsh. Maybe he didn't really mean it like that. I want you to look at this real quick. So here he is with Gavin Newsom, and he's talking about the situation again.
We got notification yesterday their home is probably burning down. Today,
I got it because the audio's kind of bad. It's not on me, it's on them. But he says we got a notification yesterday that their homes may be burned down to the ground.
Maybe still standing, I'm not sure.
He says today it may be still standing, not sure. I'm only saying that because you guys might not be able to hear him because the audio is a little janky. But in the beginning, he says, I got a notification that their houses, I'm not sure who he's referring to, but he's talking about the fire, saying their houses may be burned down. Today, it may be standing, not sure. I want you to get the full scope of everything. So I'm going to take it all the way back. Listen to this.
We got notification yesterday their home is probably burning down. Today, maybe still standing, I'm not sure. But the good news is I'm a great grandfather as of today. I have a granddaughter, and a baby girl, a baby boy. So I remember this day for a lot of long reasons. Thank you, Brett.
It's very amazing.
Did you guys hear that? He says, I got a notification yesterday. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, there are people whose lives have been lost. There's people whose lives, they still are alive, but essentially their life is completely destroyed. House is burned down. Everything's in the house is to ash. They literally, there's a lot of people who are homeless, quite literally. They have really no idea what to do. And he says, you know, I got a notification that their house might be burned down. You know, we're not sure, but, you know, the good news is I'm a grandfather. I just got a notification today that I have a grandson. Isn't that great for me? This is quite literally what he did. Like, yeah, I mean, I get your houses may be burned down, but guess what, though? That's not all bad. Everything's not all bad. I'm a grandpa today. Yay for me. Clap it up. That's literally what the sitting president of the United States had to say about the situation. And then after that, after he makes that announcement, he just kind of stands there in this very awkward little thing. He just stands there.
So I remember this day for a lot of long research. Thank you, Brett.
It's very amazing.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Brett. Thank you so much for making your way out. Thanks for making your way to the park. Please go this way. Thank you.
Press, we're going out this way. Thank you. Thank you, press. We're exiting.
He's literally standing there, not saying nothing, not doing nothing. This is who people think. This is who people really thought was going to be a good president. Not a good, he was a terrible president, but this is who people literally were going to vote for again. Out here making fire jokes and saying, yeah, I know your house may be burned down, but I got a grandson today. This is literally what he's saying. This is how he's moving. This is literally how he's moving right now. Okay. And there's still much to talk about, y'all. There's still so much to talk about. So this is Karen Bass's response. She's literally dodging reporters, like running, not avoiding the question. Because when we think of dodging reporters or dodging questions, we think of kind of like a slick way of not answering. She's running away, quite literally, like Bernie Sanders ran away from that question regarding reparations. She's really running away. Biden's making jokes. What is Gavin Newsom doing? Let me show you all what the governor of California right now, because there are a lot of people putting this on him, and you know, you can't really blame him. Can't really blame folks for putting this on him. This is what Gavin Newsom is out here doing. You know, so folks is running up on Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, and Gavin Newsom too. Look at this.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to.
Did y'all see that? Gavin Newsom was just caught so red-handed in that lie. He was caught so red-handed in that lie. That was just real. This is such a bad look. Oh, this is a terrible look. He literally just said, I'm on the phone with the president right now to discuss what we're going to do. Oh, can I? Oh, she says, okay, can I hear the call? He looks at the phone like, well, when I said I was on the phone, I was literally on the phone with him. I meant the phone was ringing. That's what I'm not on the phone with him, even though I just told you I was on the. He didn't expect her to say that. I know I'm not on the phone with him. My bars is low right now. The smoke in the air is blocking the satellite signal, so I'm walking around trying to be on the phone with him. I called him 5 times. And none of the calls is going through to the White House because DC and LA is really far away. So that's the situation, man. Oh, that was such a bad look. Oh my God, that was so bad. He literally just said, I'm on the phone with him right now. And then she says, okay, can I hear it? Well, he didn't pick up. I mean, I'm trying to be on the phone with him right now. That's what I really meant to say.
Well, I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now.
He's literally talking. Boy, I want you guys to understand this is how easy politicians can lie. Lying is their first language. You think it's English. It's not English. It's lying. They learn English second to lying.
Really talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids, losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
to
everything
fill the
I
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, inclling making sure people are safe.
I'd like to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
Man, when I tell you, Gavin Newsom is out here looking real shady right now. Gavin Newsom ain't looked this bad, I don't think, since he played that little finesse game and blocked our reparations. Gavin Newsom ain't looked that bad. You got Gavin Newsom literally lying on the phone that he is with Biden. He is talking to Biden. He says, I'm literally on the phone with the president right now. Okay, can I hear the call? I mean, well, my cell service, because I had just switched from AT&T to T-Mobile. So, you know, sometimes they don't really connect all my calls because my phone is still programmed and use Siri. It's Siri's fault. Siri is still used to the AT&T calls because the president has AT&T. So sometimes with T-Mobile and the different service plans, it goes, you know, into, if there's no Wi-Fi, you understand the call drop. I was just on the phone. Because I called him because the call dropped because of the Wi-Fi, because the school had the Wi-Fi and the school burned down and now there's no Wi-Fi. So I got to get to the next AT&T tower. So that's why I'm walking around, you know, but I will get to you and I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is this? What is this? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, y'all. I want to show you something else because all of this stuff does affect and we're definitely going to get to all of this being why we need reparations. Why we need reparations. This stuff is, I just want you to have a good understanding of the situation. All right. So y'all, thank you very much. Y'all locked in with me. All right. Now, I do want to show you and prove to you that it's not a conspiracy that the fire department's budget and their resources have been cut. This is confirmed by the fire chief. All right. This is all confirmed by them. Look at this.
Department and, of course, all the other fire departments that are assisting us with these fires. A new fire just broke out now in Granada Hills. Joining me now live, the chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department, Kristen Crowley. Thank you for talking to us today. And we're just going to get straight to the nitty-gritty because there's been so much talk. And you're aware of the criticism.
Yes.
Most of the criticism has been directed towards the city of Los Angeles, towards Mayor Karen Bass, but it's also been directed towards the administration. Everybody loves firefighters. Mm-hmm. We love our men and women on the front lines, but the administration is another thing, and they've been very critical of the way everything has been handled. Your reaction when you read those tweets, those messages, those emails?
I tell you, my reaction first and foremost is to step back and remind myself that I'm not a politician. I'm the fire chief of the greatest fire department in the world. So my focus, first and foremost, is to make sure that our fire department, our firefighters are properly funded, they're properly trained, they're properly equipped. So when it comes to the criticism, since day one, my number one priority has been and will continue to be that our firefighters get what they need so that they can serve the community. That is number one. I am going to turn down the noise when it comes to any type of criticism, because every decision that I make is going to be based off of what my firefighters need.
And those lives are on the line. So let's get to the big question, the budget. There's so much talk about it. It was cut 17 million. It was cut this. It wasn't cut at all, according to one newspaper. Was your budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 cut?
I just want you to, before she answers this question, just keep in mind that the fire chief could have easily answered this with a yes or no. This was a very simple yes or no question. Was the budget cut? Yes, it was cut. No, it was not cut. That is all you need to say to answer that. This is what she says, though.
I can tell you, I'm going to even go back further than that. Again, since day one, we've identified huge gaps in regard to our service delivery and our ability from our firefighters, boots on the ground, to do their jobs. Since day one, this is my third budget as we're going into 25-26. What I can tell you is we are still understaffed, we're still under-resourced, and we're still underfunded. So with that, whether it's 7 million, 10 million.
But was the budget cut, Chief?
Yes, it was cut. And it did impact our...
Okay, well, was it cut, yes or no? Okay, yes, it was. Do you see how long she said? She's literally, she didn't want to say that. The chief didn't want to admit, yes, the budget was cut. You could have been said that.
Ability to provide service.
Let's talk about that memo. You sent a memo, a scathing memo, to the Board of Fire Commissioners where you expressed your concern that you were not going to be able to do your job. Your firefighters would not be able to respond adequately to a major emergency like a wildfire, like what we're seeing right now.
Right. So understanding where our services gaps are, number one, is understanding where our firefighters need in regard to their equipment. Now, let's focus back on what our people need, and what they need to be is properly funded and equipped. Whether it's 7 million or not, it doesn't matter. It impacts our ability, just like you said with the board report, of our ability to provide service, and that's on a normal day. Our firefighters are running over 1,500 calls. They're transporting 650 patients a day on a normal day, let alone the last 3 days of what we've had with significant impacts that have changed the communities that we serve, their lives forever. So with that, we're going to continue to fight for what we need to. That is my job as the fire chief of the best fire department in the world.
In December, you wrote that memo. You said that these budget cuts were going to severely affect your department, from everything from brush clearance checks to make sure homeowners were doing what they needed to do, to fire hydrant checks. And yet you heard the mayor just yesterday say, no, those cuts did not affect the ability to serve and would not have changed anything in this situation. What is going through your mind? And I know this is difficult. There are a lot of politics at play. You are not a politician. You are the woman responsible for all these men and women at LA City Fire and for our residents in the city of Los Angeles. When you hear the mayor say it didn't affect anything at all, what is going through your head? If you can share that with us.
Sure. So just full transparency. Again, my position is to make sure that our people get what they need to do their jobs, and also, mind you, that they get to go home to their families. The amount of calls that our firefighters are running today.
Now, I'm letting it play so you guys can hear for yourself how often the fire chief sidesteps the question. The question literally could be, well, if the budget was cut, if you're saying that the budget was cut, or the administration, the reporter is quite literally trying to give the fire chief an out. Say, hey, it's not on you. You're not a politician. You're a fire chief. We understand. We're not blaming the fire department at all. Somebody is to blame, though, and the budget is cut. So is that the problem? And then here goes the fire chief. Well, all I can say is my job is trying to make sure that everything gets done. The fire chief is trying to go above and beyond to avoid putting any blame on the administration, trying to avoid blaming the fact that the budget being cut, which she just confirmed. She confirmed that the budget was cut, but she's trying not to say the budget being cut is the reason why the fire spread so bad. And Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom are to blame for the fire department being short on resources. She's trying her damnedest not to say that. And it continues.
Has doubled since 2010, a 55% increase with 68 less people. Full transparency, this isn't a new problem for us. Since the 3 years that I've been in the seat, I've sounded the alarm to say we need more. This is no longer sustainable. So with that, we're now in a position to be properly funded. We are screaming to be properly funded to make sure that our firefighters can do their jobs so that we can serve the community that we took an oath.
But when the representative of the city says the cuts that were made and signed did not affect the response to the fire that is being criticized, the response that is being criticized by so many people, what is going through your mind?
Yeah, just again, the full transparency of the documentation, of being able to sound the alarm.
Does it make you mad?
I don't know if it makes me mad. In the end, that is my job as a chief, to make sure that my voice is heard. And my voice...
Well, your voice clearly wasn't heard, and if it was heard, it was ignored.
Is amplified from the needs of what our people need to do their job.
So tell the city, tell the residents, tell the people that are out there. I mean, thousands and thousands of people have lost their homes, and they're looking to blame someone, and it's not the Santa Ana winds necessarily. Right. They are looking to blame administrators.
Right.
What is the message here? And have you had a one-on-one with the Mayor Bass and said, hey, I told you so. I told you this was going to affect our ability to respond to a major emergency?
I would start with a message to the community. I think they already know in their hearts that our LAFD firefighters are here to serve them, first and foremost. Again, none of us on the fire department are politicians. We're public servants first. We took an oath to serve the public before ourselves and even before our families. So with that, I want to focus on path forward.
Man. She is trying so hard not to say no names. She's trying so hard. Now, it continues, y'all. This goes on for 15 minutes. I didn't cut this up for 15 minutes. We're not going to sit here and listen to her for 15 minutes, but she is trying hard not to say those names. We don't know if she's not trying to say those names out of fear of retaliation, or if she's not trying to say those names for other reasons. We don't know it at this point, but we know for a fact that the interviewers are like, well, somebody's to blame, and the mayor said that the budget does. So what's going on? Well, as a firefighter, I know my job is to serve the community. My job of my fellow men and women are to serve just completely, straight up dodge and sidesteps that question.
I want to focus on what the LAFD needs, what I need as a fire chief, and what our people need to do their jobs to make sure that we can save lives and that we can protect property to the greatest capacity, but we need to be funded appropriately. And that's where my head is, you asked.
The mayor said it didn't affect your ability to respond. Did it affect LA City Fire's ability to respond, starting with the Palisade fire and then this domino effect of fires, including the Archer fire that we're seeing happen right now in Granada Hills?
Yeah, I think obviously any budget cut is going to impact our ability to provide service. That's at this point, that is a ground truth in regard to our ability. If there's a budget cut, we had to pull from somewhere else. What does that mean? That doesn't get done. There's delays. So in the end, again, I'm going to focus on getting us what we need from this particular catastrophe and disaster and how much it's impacted the communities that we love, I got to go after the things that will help our firefighters, keep them safe, and make sure that if and when this ever happens again, that we're properly funded and that we have the ability to do our jobs and keep people safe.
Lord, y'all. Now let's say this. She goes on. That was 7 minutes, y'all. She goes on for another 7 minutes. Okay. That video was like about 15 something minutes long of the interviewer trying to get her to stand on something like, okay, well, the mayor said this, the budget cut didn't matter. Are you saying that the budget cut matters? Yes or no? Well, let me just say this. Fires are very hot. Fires are very bad. And as a firefighter, I understand that. And my job is to serve the community. My job of my fellow men and women are to serve the community and to put the fires out. And I do understand that sometimes us being short on resources, that hurts. But, you know, I still focus on the job and I still do that. Why did you agree to do that interview if you weren't going to answer any questions? Like the fire chief is literally making it seem like an interviewer just popped out the bushes and started hammering her with questions and she didn't really want to answer anything. She didn't know what to say. You agreed to do the interview and what did you think they was going to ask you? Okay. All right. Now, some people, let's look at this from different angles. Some people are saying that she's scared for retaliation. She's scared if she says something, if she further goes along with putting the blame on Karen Bass or Gavin Newsom, she will lose her job, or other people might lose her job, or they might be further defunding, or there might be other retaliation that comes as punishment after that. That's option A. Option B is that maybe some of the money that she's getting paid, maybe some of her take home money might be a little under the table, right? So maybe she don't want to open a can of worms about, you know, where all the money is going, or, you know, she might be paid or on the low, or might know something that she's not supposed to be saying anything about. As someone in the chat room said earlier, embezzlement could be. At this point, we don't know. It could be retaliation because we know politicians do that all the time. Could be option A. Option B, she might be keeping this a secret for some other reason. Maybe she has some type of political aspirations and she doesn't want to, you know, mess that chance up. So, you know what I'm saying? It could be a lot of different reasons. But what we do know for a fact is that she was sidestepping and dodging that question. That's what we know. All right. Now, all of this stuff, it affects Black people. You know, when bad things happen like this, we understand that in situations like this, bad things happen, and the people who get affected by it the worst are Black people. It's just unfortunate. These fires are nothing to play with, nothing to joke about. Houses are getting burned down. The city is literally, people have never seen anything like this remotely in their life. And unfortunately, you had this young brother out here trying to save a little bit of his stuff. And I want you to look at this. This young man is carrying bags of his items from a burning building. Somebody poured down, getting this stuff. And then there was another video of a bunch of Black men carrying stuff out the house. This goes over the internet, all over the internet. Okay. And you had some news outlets originally saying that these are looters. They're saying, oh my God, these are looters and everybody's looting and look at all these Black people looting. They're saying that Black people are looting. This is what they were saying, right? So Turns out that was not the case at all. But people were saying this for like about a week or so before videos came out proving that these people were not looting. I want to show you something. Not to show you all of the comments of people saying that black people were looting, but Byron Gains had something to say about the situation. Byron Gains posted on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, says, "Oh, look, it's blacks doing what blacks do best. Loot in times of chaos." Then he says something else. "I'm ashamed to share the same skin color as some of these stupid ass niggas." When I told you guys before that Myron hates his own skin and Myron hates how dark his skin is, y'all, I was not exaggerating. I was not playing either. I was being very serious. And this is Myron in his own words saying that he don't like his skin. And his skin's not like dark, but he don't even like that about his own skin. Blacks doing what blacks do best. That's what Myron says. So now I want to show you this. This actually went on the news. And before I show you that, look at the house. Do you see the man right there? That is the same man you saw before. Do you see the house? That's the same house you saw the black man moving the TV out of. I want you to look at it. That's the same man with the same clothes. This is the same house. You can see the bricks on the side. Next to the door, you can see the painting. You can see the window next to the door too. So it is quite literally the same house. Quite literally the same house. Hold on. So just keep that in mind. Now listen to what the interview had to say about it.
You guys were here when it caught fire?
We stayed until the last minute.
So tell me what happened, how that played out.
They told us to leave, and we got what we could. We have dogs, we have animals. We moved that stuff, and then we waited to see. We waited across the street, and that rude guy right there, I yelled at him and cussed him out because he acted like he don't understand. Like, we trying to get our stuff. You going home tonight? We not. And we just got what we could get. That's all we can do. We got to start over.
And how many of y'all live here?
Me and my 3 kids.
You don't know where you're going next?
Nope, but I'm going somewhere.
And tell me, how did you get all these? So these all friends, family?
They are, my brother.
Now, this part I think is very important. Now, the news is not going to talk about what she says next. What she says next is very, very important.
My brothers work for the city of Pasadena. They wet the vegetation before the firefighters came. The Compton firefighters is the only ones who really put the water out here and everything. The city of Pasadena employees wet the vegetation and prevented it from getting all the fire out here. The firefighters didn't do that. The Compton, this truck right here, the 105 from Compton, they're the ones who came and put the fire out.
What were there any things you were like really wanted to get?
So you see those brothers over there? These where the camera point to? I'm trying to find out where the camera pointed to them. So these brothers over here, they came around the area. Shout out to Compton. Okay. Salute to Compton. All right. Can everybody throw a black fist in the chat room and salute Compton? Because the Compton brothers and sisters, as much flack as Compton gets, as much, because y'all get a lot of flack. Compton, y'all get a lot of flack. But the Compton brothers and sisters came out there and they started watering all of, when she talks about the vegetation and stuff, she's talking about like the trees, the bushes and all of that stuff. The reason why that stuff is important, now I'm not a fire expert, but the reason why this stuff is important is because especially during the hot seasons or the dry seasons in California, these things get very dry, which means they burn very easily. They get set on fire. They catch fire very, very easy. They're very inflammable. Also, it can be very difficult to put them out. All right. So when you have water, when the plant, when the tree, whatever, when the vegetation has some water on it, it makes it more difficult for fire to start. You know, it's more difficult for fire to catch on to a wet tree than it is to catch on to a very dry and dehydrated tree. So what the Compton brothers and sisters did, or what those brothers were doing, they went over and they started putting water all over the houses and stuff like that. So even if the fire did reach, the fire would have done less damage. It wouldn't have caught on as fast. It wouldn't have burned as hot. It would have been easier for them to put out. So as the sister was just saying, you got Compton brothers and sisters out here moving faster than the actual other fire department. Now, these people they're experts apparently, so they do know what they're doing, and they are professional, you know. So black men out here saving the day. Shout out to Compton. Much
friends, family.
They are. My brothers work for the city of Pasadena. They wet the vegetation before the firefighters came. The Compton police is.
Now, you're not going to see the news talk about that. Now, when I'm just letting you know this, because when black men appear to be looting, Lord have mercy, everybody's all like, oh, look at what black people. But when black men do anything wrong, when I tell you, when black men do anything wrong, oh my goodness, it's highlighted. It's the only thing anybody cares about. Cities are burning down to the ground, and you care about a black man who's looting something. But when black men out here saving the day, well, I mean, I guess we can talk about something else. When black men out here saving houses before the fire department is saving houses, as the fire chief is sitting up there dodging questions, but black men out here out saving houses and making sure fires don't burn as hot, nobody want to say anything. Did you see on the news where it was trending that the Compton brothers was out here saving houses? No, you did not. No, you didn't. All of the articles, all of the news coverage, all of everything talking about the fires and all of this stuff, you ain't seen not a damn one of them give any type of credit or respect to the Compton brothers and sisters out here saving houses. Now, when black men out here saving the day, that's just it just don't make the news, huh? It's just too much going on. That never just make the news, right? So I'm doing it because ain't nobody else doing it. I ain't seen nobody else give no credit to these brothers. So shout out to them. All right. Now, I also want to say it becomes very weird that no matter what is going on in the world, what black people are doing is the focus. No matter what black people are, like quite literally, no matter what black people could possibly be doing. I mean, what the world, as you know it, could be burning to a crisp. It could be all in ashes. Everybody's around wearing masks because the fire burns so hot and smoke and all that debris is in the air. It's bad for the air. It's bad air to breathe. That's how hot it is. I mean, that's how bad the smoke is. That's how bad the air is. It's a lot of air pollution. That's how bad it is. And you still got people thinking like, you know what? What are the black people doing? That's what I want to know. I understand that, you know, houses are burning down and insurance companies don't want to pay for anything. They canceling plans only a couple months before the disaster. Apparently there's no water and the fire department's been cut and all of this stuff. But what are black people doing? That I want you guys to understand. If a meteor were to crash into Earth, if we saw the meteor from outer space and we knew for a fact that if it crashed into Earth, it would create major, unprecedented historical damage and half of the world's population would just disappear, they would be like, yeah, but what are black people doing though? That's what I want you to understand, how rent-free we live in their heads. I'm talking about crazy fires to which people have never seen in their lives before. Whole cities getting burned down. fire so bad that the fire department is quite literally overwhelmed. They can't sleep, they can't break, they can't eat, they can't do anything because everything is burning down. And they like, yeah, but what are the black people doing? That's what I want to know. That's the only thing I can think about. I'm just obsessed with black people. That's just it. I can't see or think about anything besides black people. That's just it. I'm just obsessed with them. I just want you guys to really comprehend how rent-free we live in their minds. I'm talking about just rent-free, absolutely rent-free. Now I want to get to this story where it says the California wildfires could leave deeper inequality in the wake. And this is from AP News. Now, the very first thing I want to say about this coverage from AP News is this image. This AI generated image. Okay, y'all. Y'all see this? I want you, this is not a real image, y'all. This is an AI generated image of, I don't know if this is supposed to be a black firefighter, a big black firefighter. Now, you've had a lot of racists out here making AI generated images talking about, oh, the fires are like this because of quote unquote DEI. And you got all of these black people on the fire department. And that's the reason why California is burning down, because black firefighters just don't put out fires like white firefighters do. So this looks like this came from one of those racist AI generated images. Okay, very interesting that this is the first image you see from AP News. Just can't help but notice that. Can't help but notice it. But let's go into the situation, what they have to say. It says, the sight of celebrity mansions and movie landmarks reduced to ashes can make it, now we're not going to read the whole thing so y'all know, but it can make it seem like wildfires roaring through the Los Angeles area affected constellation of movie stars. But a drive-through charted neighborhood around Altadena shows, now Altadena is it's like a historical black neighborhood. A lot of black people are in Altadena. Altadena shows that the fire also burns through remarkable haven for generations of black families, avoiding discriminatory housing practices elsewhere. They have been communities of racial and economic diversity where many people own their homes. So not only did a lot of black people live in Altadena, a lot of black home owners lived in Altadena. And unfortunately, in the situation of Altadena, you had a lot of people lost their homes. Okay, so that's very, very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Now, showing some now fear the most destructive fires in California's history have altered that for good. Recovery and rebuilding may be out of reach for many, and pressures of gentrification could be renewed. So, you know, as tough as it was for California, for the black folk in California, is getting even tougher. It says, now, this is very interesting. Y'all listen to this. Samantha Santoro, 22. And then when I first read it, I'm like, Santoro, that sounds like a Hispanic last name. But okay, listen. Samantha Santoro, 22, a first-generation college student from Cal Poly Pomona, remembered being annoyed when the initial news coverage of the wildfires focused more on celebrities. She and her sister, who attends UC Berkeley, worry how their Mexican immigrant parents and working class neighbors, Mexican immigrant parents and working class neighbors who lost their homes in Altadena will move forward. So the AP News literally went from talking about black families to immediately went to talking about white families. just immediately. We talk about white families. Okay. I mean, Hispanic families. So you know for a fact they can never keep anything focused on black people. You know for a fact they always got a black and brown every single thing. They got to diversify everything. That's just how they do. All right. It says, quote, we don't have, quote, we don't have, I'll just go to my second home and stay there, Centuro said. So a lot of these people, they don't have second homes. All right. It says the landlord of their family's two-bedroom with a pool had never increased the rent $1,650 rent, making it possible for Centuro to affordably raise their two daughters. Now they're temporarily staying with a relative, going down, in Pasadena. The family has renter's insurance, but not much else. Quote, I think it's hard to believe that you have nothing, Centuro said. Through tears, thinking of her parents, everything they ever worked for was in that house. Okay, so now they just going back to the black family. Altadena has been a mix of tiny, not just going back to the black family all of a sudden. Altadena has been a mix of tiny bungalows and magnificent mansions. The community of 42,000 includes blue-collar families, artists, entertainment, industry worker, and white-collar ones. About 58% of residents are non-white, with 1/4 of them Hispanic and nearly a fifth black, according to the census data. I want you to understand it was a historically black neighborhood. A lot of other Hispanics have moved there, but it wasn't always like that. Just keep that in mind. During the civil rights era, Altadena became a rare land for opportunity for black Americans to reach the middle class without the discriminatory practices of denying them access to credit. They kept their homes within the family and helped others to flourish. Today, the black home ownership rate there is at 81.5, almost double the national rate. So I want you guys to understand how important this is. I'm going to pause it here for just a second. Altadena, 81% of the families, of the homeowners, they're black. 81% of the black people living there own their homes. That's very significant, especially in a time, and especially in a state and city where a lot of black people don't own homes, in a time in a nation where a lot of black people are facing gentrification and black home ownership is actually going down. Altadena is very significant because a lot of black people living in Altadena still own their homes, all the way stemming from the civil rights era. That is very, very important. All right. So Altadena is very significant. So you guys understand. Now let's continue. It says, where was I? It's impressive considering 92% of the 1,500 residents in Altadena are single-family homes, according to the 2023 Census American Community Survey. The median income is over $1,2600. That's pretty impressive, okay? But it is California, Altadena. Just over 7% of residents live in poverty. Now, Victoria Knapp, chair of the Altadena Town Council, worries that the fires have irreparably changed the landscape for these families, right? So, which is probably the case. Quote, someone is going to buy it and develop it. Well, let's be honest. Someone is going to buy it. Who knows what is going to go on? We don't know. That, which is what a lot of the people are saying, that a lot of this could be man-made because of that. It says, and is going to change the character of Altadena, Knapp said, adding that with fewer resources will be disproportionately hurt. The family of Kenneth Snowden, 57, was one of the black families able to purchase a home in 1962. That house was, as well as the one Snowden bought almost 20 years ago, are both gone. That's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I'm so sorry for those families. Continues to say, in his challenging state, he is challenging state and federal officials to help all all fire affected communities fairly because, quote, your 40, and this gets us to why reparations is so important, everybody, because your 40 million home is no different from my 20 million home. All right. Snowden, which is one of the families one of the people who lost their houses in the Altadena fire, wants the ability to acquire home loans with zero interest. Quote, first off, they shouldn't get loans. They should get grants, and the grants should be funded by the state and federal government so they can repair their homes. But okay, he's saying home loans with zero interest, which is very, very reasonable. It says, quote, give us the ability to rebuild, restart our lives, he said. If you can spend billions of dollars fighting a war, you can spend billions of dollars to help us get back where we were at. So I'm going to say this right here because I feel like this is very, plus I need my eyes to rest. I'm literally zooming in. I'm squinting, looking at my camera, looking at my laptop. All right. Sometimes my eyes need to rest. I would go back, but I'm going to leave it right there because then they get into more quotes. I want to say right now, my hearts go out to every family, every all of our brothers and sisters who've been affected, because even people whose lives have, their houses may not be burned down to the ground. If the whole neighborhood has been destroyed, you still have to move. Even if your house is still livable, you still have to move. So a lot of people have been really, really damaged by that. All right. A lot of people have, which is why we need reparations, which is why reparations is so very important. Because as the brother was saying, what a lot of people are going to do is they're going to cut a lot of red tape to allow rebuilding for houses, but a lot of celebrities' houses have been burned down. So what in this situation, what a lot of people are going to say is that, because what it happens a lot in natural disasters, where the celebrities and the people who got billions of dollars, they get their funding first. The insurance takes care of them first. Everybody looks out for them first because they got $40 million houses, but the single family homes who are worth maybe $1 million or 20 million, which we might think is $1 million house, but it's in California, so that's kind of like the average house. They're the last to get served, if they get served at all. So in this situation, what people are calling out is that the government and the insurance companies, they'll disproportionately assist the richer celebrities, and they'll leave the smaller guy to be all like, hey, you cool. So this is what people are calling out. And this goes to why we need reparations, because in these situations, Black people are the main ones affected by it. Black people are the ones who've had their houses been burned down. They've had houses since the 1960s. It's completely gone now. Now they got to rebuild. But the government is going to sit up there and they're going to look after the very, very rich people. They're going to look after the celebrities. They're going to look after all of them first and foremost. And then if there's any money left, if there's anything left, the next thing you know, okay, well, then I guess y'all can get what's left over from the resources after the celebrities get their house rebuilt, or after the insurance companies help the celebrities out. So stuff like that happens all the time, which is why we need our reparations. Let me give a shout out to the Cash App. Shout out to Cyberdine for your Cash App. Thank you so very much, brother. And our sister Seven, I got your Cash App too. Thank you very much, beloved. Thank you. And let me give a shout out again to AO. Shout out to AO. He said, salute Compton. Absolutely. Salute to Compton. Prayers to California family. To the California family, thank you so very. I mean, my prayers is with you. Absolutely. Compton, salute to you. Much respect. So this is why reparations is so very important. I want to show you this clip. I was tagged in it on X. I was tagged in it, and I want to show you this. Apparently, I think this was a little bit before the California thing is going on. But I want you guys to understand that the brothers and sisters in California, they still stomping hard. This was on the 7th. So I think this was like right before the fire started to like really pick up.
Check.
Hold on, let me make it
check. Governor Gavin Newsom.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Cut the check. Okay. Now, what we're advocating for specifically today is a set of policy proposals that we want to see in bills in 2025. That includes things like we want a state institution, a state agency created to implement reparations to verify eligibility. We want a state agency created, a California American Freedmen Affairs Agency, so that people have a place to go to apply for reparations, to get their claims, their payments processed, to get their checks dispersed to them. We want a fund in our state treasury. We want money in our budget in 2025. 1403. Money in the 2025 budget. Money in the 2025 budget. Of course, I just said it too. We want also a cash payments guaranteed income program in a bill this year. Okay. We also want California to return property to those who have their property taken from California. California stole people's property. California got to give people their property back or pay people for the fair market value of that property. That's what we want this year in bill form. Not next year, not the year after next, not 10 years, now. So, having said that, I want to pause for a second. I want to pass the mic to. First of all, everybody. Hold on. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you, dog. Thank you. What I want to do right now, hold on. What I want to do right now, though, is I want to pass the mic to some of the other great organizations that's here today. So I'm going to ask, without further ado, this.
Okay, so that's the situation there. So shout out to them. And this is why I'm saying that reparations is 100% needed. Okay. Reparations is 1,000% needed. Now there's more clips, but I definitely want to salute to the brothers and sisters still standing on this. And this is why I'm saying now, because report just in, somebody just broke the news that Biden announced a one-time payment. This is what the president did after making all his jokes and all that stuff. But President Biden has announced a single one-time payment of $770 to people impacted by the fire. So the people whose houses have been burned down, the people who have to move, the people who have literally nowhere to go, nothing like that. Biden says he will give those people, they have to go online and register, of course, and they will get $770, a one single time payment of $770. So right now, Biden is cheaping out on them. Right now, they already playing games. So you can already tell they're going to play games. And who do you think they're going to play the most games with? Which group of people do you think that they're going to play the most games with? And I want to show you. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, just so you guys don't think that I'm out here exaggerating or I'm out here making a joke or something like that. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll pull it up from here. Look at this. We're not going to read the whole thing, but check this out. Just to confirm, I'm not making it up. All right. It says Gavin Newsom gives I'll read the first line right here. Okay, this is what Biden says. Quote, "We're not waiting until the fires are over to help victims. We're going to help them all right now. All those affected, this is all those affected are going to receive a one-time payment of $770. Biden said." This is a quote from Biden. Biden is saying that he is going to give everyone who is affected a one-time payment of $770 because that's what he's saying is going to help them. This is Joe Biden. All right. This is the president. That's not even $1,000. What anybody is going to do with can you even stay at a hotel for a week, a single week, just the hotel, not accounting for the travel, not accounting for food or anything like that whatsoever, but a hotel. Let's say the hotels aren't even doing price gouging. Just one single week, 1 week, you think you can stay at a hotel for 1 week for $700 in California. Okay. And then that's it. And it's a one-time payment and you're not getting nothing else. This is what Biden is doing. This is why we need our reparations, because whether stuff like this is man-made or it's natural, when disasters like this happen, everybody else is getting helped out. Everybody else is getting looked out for. Everybody else is getting assistance. We are the ones who are like, well, we got a little bit on the table. We can just flick that off the table. $700 is not even 1 month's rent, especially not in California. Even if you're staying with a family member who has not been affected, and you're like, well, I can help my family member out with bills while I try to find my, a place to stay, or I try to get back up on my feet. You helping them out with $770. That's not really helping them out with much for very long. That's not helping them out with anything. This is why we need reparations. So we can have backup plans. We can have stuff to do, a backup plan, another location, someplace else. Even have resources so we can make a comeback. Because let's be honest, do you think these banks are not going to play these games? Well, of course, I hope they don't. But do we already know how these banks are going to play these games? Because the insurance companies already played the games of, hey, we're just going to cancel everybody. We're not going to cover no houses anymore at all. 2 months before the fires, letting you know that more than likely they had some type of heads up that fires were coming. Now, of course, this is the season where we get that stuff, but they had some type of heads up like, oh, this is going to be real bad. Let's pull out right now because we can't cover this stuff. What do you think the banks are going to do? The banks are sent up there. You think they just going to be giving out free money? No, not to black folk. They're absolutely not going to do that. This is why when stuff like this happens, we are the most affected and harmed by it, because we're so socioeconomically deprived of resources. All of what is going on right now needs to fuel, especially to the brothers and sisters in California, need to fuel the fact that resources and reparations are 100% necessary. If it was me, if I lived in California, I would make, anytime I go to a city council, anytime I go to a city budget, anytime I do anything, it's reparations. Take this whole conversation and make this all about reparations. This is why reparations is necessary. So we can have a backup. So even if I did have to go to another state and stay at another house or something like that, I could do that. So we do have a backup plan. So even the people here, if my family member wanted to help me, they could send money to help me. It's a lot of people who want to help. They just can't afford to help right now because of the economy. This is why reparations is 100% necessary, because you can tell right now, Karen Bass out here dodging questions. Not when I say dodging questions, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. I mean running away from questions. Karen Bass is out here running, literally, quite literally, running away from questions. You got Gavin Newsom out here lying and pretending that he's on the phone with Biden, and he ain't on the phone with Biden. Speaking of Biden, Biden out here making little jokes to Kamala. He's sitting up there making fire jokes and talking about how he's a grandfather. But don't worry, he is going to help you with $770. So the city is just completely up in smoke. Black families, especially in Argentina, they're sitting up there without a home. And everybody knows that the celebrities are going to be the first people who are going to be looked out for. And yet you got racist media sitting up there trying to make the victims, the main people who are going to be the victims in this situation are black folk. And they sitting up there trying to make the victims look like they're looters, look like they're thieves, look like they're criminals. That's what's going on. So yes, absolutely 100% without a shadow of a doubt, this is why we need reparations. Okay? This is why we need channels like this. So we can highlight the fact that we need reparations. So we can highlight the brothers in Compton saving the day. So we can highlight the fact that the incompetence of the people in charge, of the administration, of the Democrats, of everybody, their incompetence is going to mainly harm the black community. And we need resources. Because let me ask you this question. And why we do, because it all goes back to this situation right here. And this is why I say that. This situation right here. Look at this.
Compton firefighters is the only ones who really put the water out here and everything. The city of Pasadena employees wet the vegetation and prevented it from getting all the fire out here. The firefighters didn't do that. The Compton, this truck right here, the 105 from Compton, they're the ones who came and put the fire out.
Now, black people out here saving the day. Can you imagine how many more fires they could have put out? The Compton equals black, essentially. How many fires these brothers could have put out if they had reparations? Imagine if they had resources. Because everybody else acting like they didn't know California had wildfires. And these brothers out here with damn near no resources whatsoever, especially not in comparison to what the officials have, they were out here saving the day. So we don't just need reparations for recovery. We could solve problems. We could prevent things. We could save lives, save houses, save the day if we had reparations. I want you to understand, reparations wouldn't just help us. Reparations would quite literally make this country a safer place. When we get our reparations, I don't want to say if, I want to say when we get our reparations, do you understand how much better this country as a whole is going to be? Do you understand how much safer people's lives quite literally are going to be? How much positivity is going to be everywhere? This stuff is a natural disaster that black men were able to come and somewhat do some damage control to. Can you imagine if they had reparations, if they had resources, if they had some type of emergency plan, if the black families, if all the black families had like an emergency plan where they had a whole bunch of fire extinguishers and what's that, fire blankets and stuff like that. Imagine if we have resources, because clearly giving them money ain't gonna do nothing. The dominant society, no matter how much money you give them, no matter how much money they have, they can't get the job done. We get the job done with a very small fraction of the resources that they do. And not only, sorry, I said we get the job done, we do a better job than what they do. We do stuff that they can't do, and they have the resources that we don't have. So imagine if these brothers from Compton had access to their resources, to their reparations. Imagine if we had our own fire department where we're running things and we know how to handle the situation. Imagine that. If we had that, brothers and sisters, if we had that, we would, I can almost tell you that Argentina probably would be safe right now. Now, of course, there would probably be some damage. I'm not going to say that California wouldn't have had a wildfire, but if we were running stuff the way we need to, if we had the resources to do stuff, because we do it by ourselves anyway, we save ourselves anyway, but if we had the resources to do it, we would be straight. We would be literally out here saving the day like Avengers. That's literally what we would do. I want to say not only is the fact that we know for a fact the banks are going to be playing games and the insurance companies are going to be playing games, because clearly Biden's already playing games with the resources and the money. Not only do we need it for the aftermath in the recovery aspect, but we also need reparations for the preventative measures. If we had reparations, we could prevent stuff like this from happening. If black people have had reparations for years, we would already have a setup, because the brothers and sisters in California already knows that, you know, California has wildfires all the time. This is a very well-known thing. You don't even have to live in California to know that California has wildfires. It's very well known. We all know this. So if you give brothers and sisters, especially them Compton brothers, if you give them their reparations, they would set the stage up to be all like, okay, well, we know for a fact that fires is going to come over here, so we're going to already use our resources to make sure that this stuff is moisturized so the fire doesn't spread that fast, and we're going to have people, men on standby at the ready and all that stuff so we can help save lives. With reparations would have saved California. I'm going to say it. Reparations would have saved California. The black folk in California would have saved the day had they had reparations. But every single second, they stall with reparations. They literally have the country burned down. I'm showing you the proof. Just to let you know how much they hate black people. How much they hate the idea of black people destroying this racial hierarchy that we're living in. This is how much they do. That they would rather a city or even the whole country burn down than give us reparations. If we could go back in the past and we can say, hey, Gavin, do you understand that black people will save California from one of its most horrific, record-breaking historical wildfires if you give them reparations? He would still say no. He would still say no. Y'all got to believe me. He would still say no. He would still say, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm on the phone with the president right now, talking about it right now. I'm trying to be on the phone, but you know what I'm saying? I gotta walk around. This Gavin Newsom is sitting up there walking around like that T-Mobile commercial or the Verizon Wireless. Remember that Verizon Wireless commercial? When the guy will walk around on the phone. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That's Gavin Newsom. He would sit up there and play those little games instead of giving black folk, foundational black Americans, our reparations. He would do. I want you to understand, these people don't care about themselves as much as they care about keeping the status quo of white supremacy. That's how much they don't care about themselves and care about the system in the religion of white supremacy. That's how much. That knowing that we would be out here saving the day, saving America like we always are, like we always do. We would be out here saving the day, because who else is going to do it? Nobody. We out here saving the day like we always do, out here saving the world, out here saving lives, out here saving America, out here saving property like we always do. And they still don't want to give us our resources. We're not asking for their stuff. We asking for our stuff, or we demanding our stuff. And they would rather a city or a country burn down to the likes of which nobody's ever seen than to give us our reparations. This is why we can't be out here playing these games. This stuff right here, these damages, this used to be a city. And this is why We cannot be playing these games with folk. This stuff right here, and I'm not here saying, because I don't want to spread no lies or anything like that. I'm not out here saying that there would be no forest fire ever in California, but I'm saying that the damages that we've seen so far, if we had our reparations and we were allowed to do with it as we know we needed to, it wouldn't be like this. That's what I do know. I do know it wouldn't be like this, because you got brothers and sisters in Compton who already knew what to do to prevent fires from spreading anyway. You would have brothers and sisters out here being all like, okay, well, we know this is around the seasons where stuff get dry, so let's hurry up and do preventative measures to try to do some type of mitigation of what type of fires, the damage. We would out here try to mitigate some of the damages. We would out here try to do some type of damage control before the fires. That's what the brothers would have done if they had their reparations. But no, Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom didn't want to approve of the reparations thing. Remember the budget we was talking about last year? Because Gavin Newsom didn't want to do that, California burned down. So you could really say California burned down. I just want you to understand this. California burned down because Gavin Newsom said no to reparations. Quite literally. So I want all of the brothers and sisters, especially the ones in California, to remember that this is why you all need to stay on point with reparations. This is why no games can be played. This is why y'all need to continue the work that you guys are doing, continue the good work, continue putting in, continue showing up to the town halls or whatever y'all got going on, anything y'all got going on to push the message of reparations. Y'all need to keep that work up, because ain't nobody gonna be out here looking out for y'all. Everybody gonna be sitting up there playing dumb. Folks gonna be running away from the camera. Folks gonna act like they don't know what to say, if they say anything at all. They gonna be lying on TV, lying to the reporters, and the city is just up in smoke and burning down. And it's only up to us to save the day, like it always is. Quite literally, like it always is. Family, my heart goes out to all of our brothers and sisters who've lost a lot, if everything, really, in California. It really does go out to you all. And I really, really do, for you guys to recover 100% and very quickly. You know, I know there's a lot of resources out here, a lot of people pulling up a lot of different websites with different resources or whatever. They playing games, I know that, but like I'm saying, to me, this is the best I can do, because I'm raising awareness to what could have solved the problem, what can help the damage right now, and furthermore, what can solve the issue. Okay? Not only will reparations help the people, help the families, help the recovery, but it will also solve for further wildfires. It will also solve the issue. Okay? So when people say, well, what should we do next time? The only thing I'm going to say is reparations. That's what I'm going to say. Now, of course, the second answer would be fund the fire department. That's kind of like a second answer. The first answer I would say is reparations. That's the absolute first answer, is reparations. The second answer is maybe not cutting the budget for the fire department. Maybe that wasn't the smartest move. Maybe in hindsight of the fact that the whole city kind of burned down, maybe cutting millions of dollars for the fire department and all of that. Maybe in hindsight that was kind of dumb, but you know, first answer, reparations, 100%, 100%. So, yeah, Nisi is making a good point right here. A lot of, if you guys do want to donate, make sure that you guys are doing it to a very credible and legit source, because a lot of people, what they do with natural disasters happen, what a lot of people do is a lot of people open up little websites and little scam GoFundMes and stuff like that. So y'all be very, very cautious of scams and scammers. Be very cautious of that, because every single time a natural disaster occurs, you got some type of scammer out here. You got some type of website that's kind of ripping people off. They saying they sending money this way, but they really not sending money. They sending a little bit, but they pocketing some money. So you got a lot of that stuff that happens with the natural disasters. All right, you do. So be very, very, if you want to donate, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, you know, it's a lot of people who could use your help, you know, because Biden out here talking about $700 something. So clearly a lot of people could use your help. A lot of people talk, crisis actors, a lot of that stuff pops up too. You know what I'm saying? So be very, very diligent with your money. Don't get out, don't be finessed. Don't let nobody finesse you. Says we got a cash app from Alonda. Our sister Alonda says, also Afro, Mayor Bass overfunded the LAPD. You know what? That's another thing too. Thank you very much for that. Shout out to your cash app too. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, she took a lot of the money. A lot of people asking, well, where did the money go? Because if you're taking a lot of the money from the fire department, you're taking it for a reason. So that means you're taking it from one thing and you're putting it to another thing. And a lot of the money, because they upped the budget for the LAPD, the police department. So they upped the budget for them. They lowered the budget for the fire department, and they upped the budget for the police department. So all of this money you moving, now what are the police doing? How are the police helping? Serious question. Police ain't really doing that. You ain't seen no police really doing nothing, but you took the money out of the fire department. If any department needed the most money and the most funding, it would be the fire department. But here you are moving that money. Okay. So a lot of people, this is why a lot of people talking about the Democrats is all the way up. It's all the way up for them. Now, let me ask y'all a question. California is very liberal. And that's really because California has pockets that are very densely populated, which is really most of America. Most of America is kind of rural or red, but they have cities that are very, very heavily populated that are liberal. The same way with Illinois. Illinois is pretty much red, except for Chicago. Chicago makes the state blue. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way in California. Do you think that come next election, do you think that people going to still be liberal the way they've been spending money, the way they act like they don't know what to do? I can guarantee you they not. And it's all downhill for Gavin Newsom right now. It's all downhill for him because next year his seat is up and he's not going to be able to run for governor again. Not that he would be elected, considering the horrific damage that's been done and how unprepared he was for the forest fires. Ain't nobody gonna sit up there and elect this guy again. He had this lady run up to him, be all like, oh, can I listen to you on the phone with Biden? Well, yeah, Biden ain't really on. I know I said I was talking to him on the phone, but what I meant, it was I'm trying to talk to him on the phone. Sitting up there getting caught on camera lying about talking to Biden. And anything he goes for now, it's over with. He doesn't even have enough time to try to clean up his image. He doesn't have enough time because elections are up. His seat is up next year. In one single year, he's not going to have enough time to even clean up this mess. So he can't even hang his hat on, I know we had a bad time, but I've worked hard and I cleaned it up. He's not even going to have enough time to do any of that. So where is he going after this? We don't know, but it's damn sure not going to be the White House. It's damn sure. First off, we was never going to let him touch the White House after he fumbled the bag on purpose for reparations. But after this is what he's going to be known for. He's not even going to have enough time brothers and sisters, to be known for anything else. This is going to follow him for the rest of his days. It's also going to follow Karen Bass for the rest of her days. She'd be lucky if she was elected hall monitor after this. Oh, they will never be elected for another. The second their time is up, they are out them seats. They're going to be out them seats. If anything could flip California red, I can guarantee you their response is definitely going to help. I don't want to make any fire puns, but it's definitely going to help fuel that. Yeah, y'all seats is up. Gavin Newsom is done. He's done. I would say that Biden's done too, but Biden just acting like he really don't give a damn. Biden is acting like y'all kicked me out the race. Damn you. I don't care about nothing. I'm about to leave the office in the next week anyway. I really don't care about a damn thing anyway. I really don't. Biden sitting up there moving like Biden don't give a damn about anything. He making jokes. Talking about his damn grandson. And he say, hey, I got $770 one time. He didn't even just say he had $770. He made sure to specify that it was a one-time payment. I want y'all to know that when y'all take it, y'all better leave and not ask me for nothing else. Biden let it be known in the very same statement that he giving some money out, the very same statement, he let it be known, oh, this all y'all getting. Y'all not getting nothing else. It's a one-time payment. So, hey, that's Biden. So, yeah, Democrats, y'all done. And it seemed like y'all gonna be done for a long time. Because if y'all lose California, that's a very, very, very significant thing to lose. That's a very significant thing to lose for the Democrats. If California flip red, if California starts becoming it, even if California don't have to flip red, if California become like purple, if y'all lose y'all grip on California, y'all gonna be in a bad situation for a long time. A very long time. A very, very long time. Y'all might not ever recover from that. Let me get to the super chat. William, our brother William says, the wonderful company controls 60% of California's fire. Resnick family. Okay. So 60% of the California's water, I said fire, water, 60% of that is owned by, now I didn't even know that, and thank you very much for letting me know that. 60% of that is owned by the wonderful company controls that. The wonderful company Resnick family. The Resnick family controls 60%. So a lot, you can blame the Resnick family for that. So it's a lot of little funny stuff going on. It's a lot of funny stuff. I didn't even know that. The Resnick family. So where was y'all at? Y'all didn't know what to do. Y'all didn't want to help, because a lot of people were saying that the fire hydrants were empty. A lot of the firefighters and stuff like that, they were saying that there was not enough water in the fire hydrant to really put the fire out the way they needed. Essentially, they didn't have the water they needed to put those fires out. They didn't have the manpower nor the water. Then Alonda says again, remember when we found out the reason why FEMA didn't have enough money to address the problems surrounding the hurricanes in the South a few months ago? And turns out the money went to illegals. Yep, that's very true. And it was confirmed. That's not a conspiracy. That was confirmed that the money went to illegals. A lot of people saying too. Now, I'm only not saying that for a fact because I don't know it for a fact. And it's very important that we do not spread misinformation and only talk about what we know for a fact. But we can still theorize. And let's be honest, y'all been spending a whole lot of money on these illegals. We can't ignore that. That's the big elephant in the room. We can't ignore that a lot of these millions and millions of dollars went to illegals. Y'all were about to give them houses for free. Remember that? We talked about that not too long ago, that they were about to give illegal immigrants houses just for free. Just give them a house. Here you go. So y'all had money for them. Now, when it comes to the fire department, y'all ain't got no money for firefighters. Y'all don't got no money for water. Y'all don't got no water. Y'all don't got nothing. Y'all don't got no money to help people recover. Y'all don't got none. So it also makes people question when Karen Bass took the money from the LA Fire Department. Where did the money go? Why did you take so much money from the fire department to go where? Did you spend some of that money on the illegals? Did you need to take from the fire department to give to the illegals? We don't have the official report on where all the money she took from them went, so I'm not going to say that for a fact, but you know, the dots do kind of connect a little bit. The dots do connect. All right. Allegedly, the dots do connect. All right. So we just got to say that. Then we got Alonda sends another one saying that might be the case with the California fires. Hey, we're not going to say anything for a fact that we do not know and we cannot verify. What we can say is the dots connect. We can say that. We can say it doesn't seem like that much of a stretch or a reach to say that the money that you took from the fire department, knowing the fire, you didn't take a little bit, you took a lot. Knowing the fire department needed all the money they can get, more money than what they had, knowing they needed that, and you took it, and the immigrants are getting all this money seemingly out of nowhere. So, you know, the dots do connect. They do. And this comes from a city that is more willing to pay illegal immigrants money that for breaking into the country than us, our reparations. So this is why we got to keep on them. This is why we cannot let up. This is why we got to stay on their case about reparations. This is why we got to have reparations on the front of our minds all the time, quite literally all of the time. We cannot play any games with them as far as our reparations are concerned. Then I said this before, and I will say this again, and I will stand on this. If we had our reparations, we could have saved the day. When I say we, I mean foundational Black Americans. We could have saved the day. We could have saved the day. The damages, yeah, it would have been some damages, but it wouldn't have been as much, and I will stand on that. Because the brothers in Compton have already proven that they know how to handle situations like this. So I'm going to stand on the fact that if we had gave them their reparations and their resources and stuff like that, and gave them the stuff they needed to do, they probably could have saved the day and saved California. I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on that. This is why we cannot let up. We cannot let up, family. We cannot let up. We got to keep the pressure on them. But brothers and sisters, I want us to understand going into 2025, we got to be focused. Because we already having this the first month in, and we already having crazy historical disastrous weather, snowing, going crazy. We got snow in Atlanta right now, and we got fire, literally the whole city burning down in California. So, you know, we need to be on the fact that we need our resources. Okay. Because then when stuff happened, then everybody act like they don't know where the money went, and I don't know what happened, and I don't know where the money went. It wouldn't have mattered if we gave you the money. No. Give us the money, not only so we can recover, so we can make sure that this ain't gonna happen again. We would make sure that this don't happen again. But brothers and sisters, I want to send a shout out to every single last one of you all for supporting, everybody for watching, everybody. Shout out to California. Okay. Can we get another black fist in the chat room for the brothers in California, for the family in California, for all of the damages that are lost. Our thoughts and prayers to every single last brother and sister in California who's had their lives destroyed, whether it was quite literally ended, whether it was due to the damages that's been done, whether it's due to the fact that they've had to relocate, all of that stuff. Our prayers are with you all. If you guys do want to donate to them, please make sure, just really, really, really make sure that you guys are spending your money with a legit source and that your money is going directly to the families. Okay. There's going to be a lot of GoFundMe's up. Hey, my house was burned down. I need some money. I got kids. A lot of these people using fake pictures. A lot of these people are crisis actors. A lot of these people, you know, are faking and trying to finesse. Just double check and be very diligent and try to make sure that you don't get finessed and that other people don't get finessed. If you see a scam, don't just avoid it. Call it out. If you see somebody and you're all like, hey, I'm looking through and I find out that you scamming and you lying or whatever the case is, don't just say, you know what, I'm not going to spend no money. Call that out so somebody else don't get finessed by it. So screenshot, if you see somebody scamming, screenshot, put that on the internet, put that on Twitter, put that on Facebook, be all like, hey, such and such and such, they trying to get money through Cash App, they trying to get money through GoFundMe, they trying to get money through Boo Up the Bam, they're scamming, that's a fake, all that stuff, you know. So it's important that we do that. So not only are we protecting our pocketbooks, we're also protecting the pocketbooks of other people who are trying to help, all right? So we just got to be diligent. We got to make sure we own it. Now, with that being said, brothers and sisters, you guys follow me on my various social media platforms. That is Afro Elite on Instagram and then The Afro Elite on Twitter. Very important that you guys, if y'all like this content, which is important that you do because this spreads the message that you've not seen anybody else give credit to the Compton brothers and sisters or to make this subject about reparations, to tie this to reparations. This is why this channel is so very important and necessary. So I need you all to lock in and hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, double check, make sure that you guys are subscribed and hit that notification button. All right. Make sure you guys have your notifications on as well, too. All right. All of it is very important and it helps the reach and growth of the channel. It helps the channel stay on the algorithm. It helps more people see the channel. It helps the growth of the channel. All of that stuff. All of that stuff. Somebody saying Reza Islam, if he has like a website or something that, you know, like I'm very, very, very sure he's out here doing something to help. But if I don't know if he has like a website where you can donate so he can get resources to help, but he's a trustworthy person. You know what I'm saying? So there's brothers and sisters who are trustworthy that you can, if you do want to donate to so they can help, they can do that. But especially the big official websites like the Red Cross, Blue Shield, all of that stuff, a lot of that stuff, they be giving very, very small percentages of your donation to the actual cause. A lot of that stuff they be pocketing and taking home. So just be very, very, very diligent with the money. All right. Be very diligent. All right. But with that being said, my brothers and sisters, thank you all for watching. It's very important that you guys do that. Be one to every single last one of you all. Y'all be safe and y'all stay blessed.